This is a message for the presidential candidates. It's May 28th, 2008. Call me Joe. I like that because I'm just an average American, not a politician, not a celebrity. I'm not even in a political party, just a regular American Joe. Now, some might say I'm part of the silent majority. I don't feel like being silent anymore. So listen up, Barack, Hillary, John, because this message is for you. What a pathetic disappointment you are. As senators, you hold some of the most important positions in the entire nation. You should be promoting leadership and ideas for all of our country, not just poor people or business people or those that support your own party. Give us a big vision as a united people, and don't keep pandering to segments whose votes you want. Pay attention to all 300 million of us. Let's look at the situation right now. Most Americans have two huge issues on their minds: energy costs and the war in Iraq. Higher energy costs are hurting us in our homes and at our businesses. Look, America and the rest of the industrial economies of the world have been built by substituting energy for human labor. We get that. We know that the productive use of energy is now the basic building block of human comfort and success. We need to make certain that American energy supplies and costs are not controlled by others. Do you get that? Doesn't seem so, because preaching about what we drive, questioning oil executives, and doing nothing about this problem is not an answer. Indeed, all you senators are part of the problem. Let me explain. Consider a business manager that brings in new inventory each day at the highest cost ever paid, instead of using the 3 to 7 years worth of inventory he already has paid for sitting in the back room. You'd probably think that that manager was making money off the new purchases, or was maybe grossly inept or stunningly stupid. Well, the U.S. brings in about 65% of the oil it uses every day, while you senators have about $32 trillion of proven oil inventory we already own on federal land. That's about $300,000 worth of crude oil for every household in America. You are our manager, but you're not using it. What should we think of you? Are you making money off the overseas purchases? Are you grossly inept, or are you just stunningly stupid? The importance of inexpensive energy that's environmentally friendly is not news. You three are important politicians, and yet you've done virtually nothing about it in the past, and you're doing nothing about it now. Not even a plan. Instead, you focus on special treatment for one group or another, or preserving an animal habitat. Wake up! What about the national habitat? You say that a faraway animal habitat must remain unchanged, but it's just fine if the habitat of the average American declines. Now, you can probably afford to be strident about some herd 1,000 miles away. Most senators, like you, have millions of dollars and everything your families could want: insurance, college educations for the kids, and fat pensions that we fund. Meanwhile, you block the use of our nation's oil assets worth trillions of dollars and force us to send both our treasure and our young soldiers to our enemies. What is wrong with you? You're all pathetic panderers to race, gender, and special interests, while the major problems of our 300 million people are almost ignored. Well, we regular Joes are going to try to help you out here. So here's a big plan for you to consider, since you've offered so little to consider yourselves. The key here is to think about using our own oil reserves as a means to get us off of imported oil. It has 4 steps. 1, put a national energy plan in place. Perhaps it would include a goal of being energy independent of imported oil by 2020. Approach it like President Kennedy did in his 1960s plan to land on the moon, while at the same time surpassing our Cold War enemies in technology. We did that. And with leadership, we'll achieve this national energy plan too. Second, identify allies to help us in this plan. Let's see. How about Iraq? Iraq is the other big issue, and they have about 9% of the world's proven oil reserves. And they owe us, not only for the freedom achieved and our soldiers' lives, but around $2 trillion of money they've cost our taxpayers. We're in a war, and the important thing is to get it finished, not who said what years ago. We need to successfully finish this war, not only for the people in Iraq, but to show respect for our word and our fallen, but also because it's good for the American people. Because, number 3, make repayment of that debt mandatory and payable through a discount from market price over the years of our national energy plan. That will reduce the cost of energy to our homes and businesses below world market price, likely increasing our business competitiveness and strengthening the dollar. Number 4, establish Iraq as our preferred energy vendor and ally. We will no longer buy energy from any nation hostile to our interests. By using our own proven oil reserves, along with buying it from Iraq, we will not need oil from any other source to maintain current consumption levels to 2020 and even beyond. By buying our own crude from ourselves, even at 40% less than current market price, we could then be investing around $30 billion each week on oil alternative research, development, and infrastructure. Right now, we send that money overseas to crude oil suppliers who build enormous palaces and give our money to their citizens. Spent in America, that money will secure our future, create jobs, stabilize our debt, and perhaps fund health insurance for every one of us, all while paying less at the pump. As our ally and special trading partner, Iraq's economy will be reborn during the plan to become a post-oil power, much like Germany and Japan were reborn post-World War II. And think about this. If the world's largest oil buyer is out of the world oil market, what do you think that would do to the flow of money supporting terrorists around the world? Meanwhile, our energy plan will perfect and roll out the alternative sources like hydrogen that will replace the world's need to burn oil. We can both create profitable new industries and end the threat of global warming caused by oil consumption. This is not a final solution, but here's a plan to talk about. Those who make big oil money will resist, but you do not represent them. Your job is to represent all the people of America, all of us. So, here are 4 steps that will begin the non-oil industrial revolution. Create new alternative energy industries and make our existing industries more competitive. It can secure our future, provide us with hope for our families, and diminish the enemies of democracy by encouraging our allies. We would take the lead in ending the oil-based pollution that's choking our world. It may reduce the possibility of war, and it can be accomplished by the focused action of our country. Barack, Hillary, John, please remember that American success has come from its unity as a nation. Through leadership, our country must continue its efforts to combine all Americans, regardless of generation or gender, or color or culture, respectfully into one. That is the American way. You guys, get back to me at joe@joeamerican.us. And all you other Joe Americans like me, talk about this, and let's raise the expectation of what we want from our leadership and government. Not segmentation, not guilt trip preaching, but leadership that will take us all to new heights. Forward this to all the regular folks you know, and send me your ideas. Let's use the new media to make a difference and create a dialogue that can't be ignored by the politicians. This is our country. These are our assets, and this is about our future. Call me Joe, American.